Your Life Amazing is a concept that you are an author. You are a painter. You get to determine how great your life is. Not your parents, not your circumstances, not your current finances. You get to paint your life amazing. And I'm going to help you not only find what you're destined to, help you find a destiny, but to work it out practically to start seeing it happen. Because a lot of us seem or feel stuck. You know, we're stuck by our circumstances. You know, you can be in a country, if you're in a certain country and you're a female, you're stuck. There's certain limitations by you. You actually have a station in life that limits you in your situation. Back 100 years ago, if you had certain skin colors, there are certain things you couldn't do. You had limitations. And even today, depending on your belief system or your skin color or your gender, you can actually have limitations. But that doesn't stop you from painting your life amazing. And that's what we're going to talk about. How do you break free from the expectations and limitations of your society? But more important, how do you break free from the limitations that you've believed? The things that you've put in your head because your mom, your sister, your older brother, whatever, somebody told you something, and it's why you're not living your life to the fullness, why you're not living the fullness of your dreams. And so in Paint Your Life Amazing, I use a picture example. I say, if you're not living your life like a 5-year-old feeding ducks, then your life's not amazing. You ever seen a 5-year-old feed ducks? It's exciting. You get excited just watching them do it. You know, all the noise and the excitement and they just never get tired of doing it. All the laughter. You should wake up in the morning without an alarm clock because you're ready to go into this life. That my life is so amazing that I can't wait to have another day of it. And so we're going to teach you how to get one of those days, the perfect day. We're going to have you write down what your perfect day is and then strive to reach that one. You have one perfect day. And then have a second one and get them closer and closer together until your whole life is one perfect day after another perfect day. And it's not about going on vacation. It's about living a life, living the entire life as if you're on vacation. So let's talk about some of the life hacks. You'll probably want to go back and listen to some of the other stuff because every event that we do is going to be completely different. We're going to try really hard to never rehash anything because we got so much to talk about and so many things for you guys. So we're not going to rehash, but I want to start giving you some skills and some practical life hacks on how to begin this process. How do I begin having a life that's full and rich that everyone envies? They look into my life and say, man, I want your life. I want to live where you live. I want to live the life that you live. So here's how you start. We start this process with what we call the whiteboard. There's a whole entire training that we do called the whiteboard. So I'm going to give you a little brief overview on that topic. The whiteboard is this. You start your page, you get a blank piece of paper, and on the blank piece of paper, you're going to tell your story. You're not going to tell your current story, you're going to tell your future story. And you get to paint, just like a painter. You go to the store, you get the canvas, you get the paints, you get the brushes, and you're ready to start painting. And this is how you start. You have to start with not yesterday. You cannot include yesterday in the whiteboard. You're going to paint a future that has nothing to do with who you were, what your parents said, what your finances say. This is a future of what you want to become. Everything that you've ever desired and dreamed of doing. Even if you've never given yourself permission, this is the beginning of permission. You're going to give yourself permission to be a world traveler, to have all the money that you want, to have all the relationships that you want, to write the books that you want, anything you want to do. And this is how it begins. You start by putting 3 categories. We're going to call them personal, accomplishments, or we'll do accomplishments, and then legacy. And in those 3 categories, you want to start writing down the things that you want to accomplish. You want to fill this page up with dreams. This has nothing to do with logic or reason. You have to get away from, the way this works best is if you get away from reason. You can't tell yourself why you can't have these things. It starts off with a list of so many things that it's not possible for one human being to do in a lifetime. That should be the greatest problem that you have. If you do this list correctly, you should have more stuff on here than you could ever believe that you could do. I want to write a book. I want to have millions of dollars. I want to have friends. I want to speak publicly. I want to lose 50 pounds. I want to everything you've ever wanted to do, you put down on the list. And these are just reminders. These are just points to help you categorize your dreams. Your personal stuff would be, I want to graduate from college, I want to lose weight, I want to be a business owner, I want to be able to read 500, 600 words a minute. Personal goals, things that you'd like to do. Because you're right there. Accomplishments, these would be things that could be financial. It could be, you're going to see that some of them are going to overlap. So accomplishments could be, I want to be a children's book author. I want to make $50,000 a month. You know, that you have some kind of accomplishments. What kind of things do I want to produce or create? What kind of substance does someone looks into my life and sees something? I want to be a gardener. I want to be whatever. It's things that you want to accomplish. And then legacy, something at whatever age. Usually when you get to be 50, 60 years old and you start having grandchildren, you start thinking about this. But everyone should be thinking about, what do I want to leave behind? What thing do I want to leave in my children, in my grandchildren, in my neighborhood, in my culture? What do I want to leave behind? What story do I want to have, whether it's financial or practical? What do I want to leave behind as a legacy? And so you write that stuff down. And then lastly, there's this little category over here that we talk about called Who Am I? It's a subcategory that as you're going through this stuff, this is a category. This is a category that you want to write down. Whenever you leave a room, people talk about you. And the reason that you know that is because when they leave the room, you talk about them. So you want to have that story be told intentionally. Most people never give it any thought. They go into a culture, they go to family, they go to Thanksgiving with their family together. They go on a family vacation, they go meet a bunch of people, they go into a room, they go into a big meeting like this, and they're telling a story, because when you leave, they're going to tell each other the story that you told. What story do you want to tell when you leave the room? You can do that intentionally instead of just spontaneously responding based on your own expectations and selfish desires. You can actually have a goal and tell a story as you go. As you come and go into a room or into any relationship or meet a complete stranger, what story do I want to tell? My perfect example is I always wanted to tell this story. When people left, people thought, man, Bill's smart. That was my story. I wanted everybody, because when I was young, I was 21, 22 years old, I was the smartest guy in the room. I read more than anybody. I had a higher IQ than everybody, and nobody knew that. And I couldn't figure out how to get them to know that Bill was a smart guy, and so that was the story that I wanted to tell. Well, once I got to that point where Bill's smart, I realized I didn't want that story. What I would prefer to have is Bill cares. I didn't care whether people think I'm smart or not. Once I got to that goal, now I want to tell the story, Bill cares. Bill cares about me. Bill thinks that I'm a valuable human being. That's a better story. And so you get to change the story as you grow up. As you grow up through IQ, EQ, and SQ, you can actually start telling the story. You can also have multiple stories. With your grandchildren, you might tell one story. With your kids, you're going to tell a different one. And intentionally tell a different story, that you're going to be something for the different crowds that you come in contact with. So start to tell that story. That's a quick overview. We need to actually get into the whole whiteboard scenario. That should give you enough information so that the next things that I tell you will get going. The other thing I need to mention before I give you the practical tools is when you're going to have one of two problems. When you do this board, you're going to have one of two scenarios. One is you're going to have too much stuff on the list, which is a great problem to have. We can help you with that. The other one is you don't have anything at all. You have almost nothing on there. If that's the case, you're believing the story of what we call discouragement, dis-ease, dissuaded, that through life, has been a continual harassment to you. It tells you a story that replaces this story. If you're not a dreamer, if you're not a visionary, if you don't have great goals for you that inspire you and the people around you, then has been applied to your life and you believed it. And so if you're having trouble with that part, you should probably go back to last week, because I don't have time to do this week. How to get free from the discouraging words and the disappointments and the discouragement from all of the people around us. At every stage of life, when you start to go do something else, is right there to meet you. Tell you why you shouldn't, why you can't, why you don't deserve it. And so you have to work on that. So that's the two scenarios. If you go tonight, you start doing your homework, you start writing all this stuff down, and you find out you're the person like, I don't have any dreams. I don't have anything, I can't fulfill it. We have to work on this. So all that to say, practical, how to start working on this stuff. In corporate America, they have these skills: project management, task management, life management skills. And You can actually get a master's degree in that kind of stuff and learning how to manage project management and tasks. I want to give you a completely different mindset, something that's completely different. I haven't seen anybody else teach this stuff. This is a way to take the tasks of your life and put it into the dreams of your heart. Make your life filled with activity that are connected to the dreams that we just talked about. The things that I want to do, the things that I want to accomplish. I absolutely believe that from a person who's connected to their divine purpose, once they find a thing, a purpose that is truly them, your echo, your thing, once you find out what that is, there is no negative thing that can ever happen to you. It's impossible for a negative circumstance to occur to that person. Once you're connected, that even your trials, even your stumblings, even your failures are actually learning experiences and milestones or stepping stones to help you achieve great things. That in every single circumstance, once you find the journey and you're connected to your divine purpose, there is nothing but the journey. You've already arrived. And the process of seeing the fulfillment of some of the milestones come to fruition are just rewards. It's like another birthday party. It's another celebration. You get to celebrate the milestones, but you're already on the journey. And even before you hit the $1 million, before you hit the goal, you've already arrived because you're now impassioned by the dream. You're now moving and flowing within the divine echo that you're destined to have.